Welcome back. So now we're working on our scent discrimination, because what you guys have been doing at home after you learned the regular box game and you've added, whether it was, your Home Depot buckets, storage containers, whatever you were able to find that would be able to emulate the same system kind of that we've been showing you here, and you have your canine that's able to identify the odor you're asking them to find. We're going to take it to the next level. So in anything, this is our box game. You've seen I think we've shown you 4 different levels of the box game. Now we're just jumping on to level 5 now. And level 5 is going to be the beginning process of scent discrimination. And it's a really rad way to really hone in on the dog's cognitive abilities and develop it even further. So what we have here today is we have our 8 boxes set up, but now in each one of our boxes, we actually have a different odor. What my job today, as I work with Rosie, who her main odor is explosives, is I'm going to try to throw Rosie off. That's actually my goal. That's what I kind of want to see. So in one of our boxes, which you can see that we have illuminated, is our explosive odor. And actually what I do have in there today is I have a cocktail of explosives, everything from TNT, from C4, PETN, RDX, dynamite. I've kind of created a cocktail in there for Rosie, but she's already been trained on each one separately first. So cognitively, she does understand PETN is what it is, but now putting it in with RDX and C4, etc., is not a big deal. But again, most of these explosives have a common denominator to begin with. But what I'm just really doing, because I'm doing scent discrimination and I'm going to try to fool her, what you've heard me say before is I like to make the game in the very beginning very easy for my dog to win. I want to make sure that I keep my canine's confidence always high. I don't want my canine to lose. I don't want my canine to fail. Like with training any organism, it's our job as the teacher and the developer and the designer to be able to create an exercise, to create a drill that my athlete can be successful in. And once I can see their success within that exercise, okay, now I can start to tone back, and take some things away, start to change my volumes a little bit more, especially if it's odor, make that odor less instead of more, and make maybe my discriminating odor higher to try to throw off my canine. But at the end of the day, what you see is a cocktail of explosive odor in her explosive box. To reiterate from previous episodes, whatever box you're using for that odor, it never changes. So with that box that is illuminated, that is always our explosive box. We don't change. Everything that always goes in that box is explosives. But in the other boxes that you see that we have laid out, some of the different odors that we have out there is we have petroleum jelly, we have Tang, we have hydrogen peroxide, I have heroin and marijuana out in these boxes. I have Rosie's favorite toy, as you've heard me say in other episodes before as well. Each toy holds a certain value. Well, the crazy squirrel is actually Rosie's most intense turn-on toy that she has in her toy box, that she just goes absolutely, that central nervous system just fires through the roof. So I got her crazy squirrel in one of the boxes. So the whole idea, once again, is I want to try to get Rosie to false. I want to see it. because I need to know now what do I have to work through, right? I never want to get out in the field and have my dog do a false indication, because at the end of the day, especially with an explosive canine, it's not like working a marijuana dog or that dog that's looking for heroin. If I do get a false, it's not the end of the world. I'm not evacuating a building, calling it a bomb squad. So we really want to make sure that we can dial things in, especially if you're a private contractor out there, and you're working for a private organization, or your contract is a Fortune 500, 1,000 company. We have to be so spot on that if our dog sits, we know exactly what our dog is sitting on. So this is kind of the exercise that we have to drill and drill and drill for skill over and over and over again, because then also in my logbook, my record keeping, I'm able to say that my dog has run across this individual odor 2,000 times, whatever it might be, and never once in her or his training have they indicated on that odor. And I'll keep track, in my log of all the different odors that I've exposed my dog to. So it's the same concept as in training your canine to be able to perform tasks in the environment. The more environments we can introduce our canine to, the better, the more well-rounded canine we have, the more odors I can introduce my canine to and explain to my canine that is not the odor that I need you to find, the stronger cognitively my canine will be. So today's exercise is going to be very simple. I will be putting Rosie on lead, just so I can walk her through and I can present, because also at the same time, what I don't want on the off-leash exercise, which you always like to hear me say, I love to teach my dogs, off lead, kind of cognitively be able to let them figure it out a little bit. Well, when I'm using odor discrimination, I do like to interfere a little more as a teacher and be quicker with my correction. No, that's not it. I don't even want them to think about it for a long period of time. Later on down the road, once I know maybe I've ran them 20 times on nutmeg, on tang, whatever, on a hydraulic oil, then I know kind of within my training basis that the dog is never indicated on hydraulic oil when they've been on lead. So now it is time to take them off lead and see them work through the process, because they do know. And again, based on their temperament, Clorox, will love to anticipate. So Clorox, you could get those false indications quicker, but it's easy to train them out of it, etc. when working with your Sangies and so forth. But today you'll see me pull out Rosie here in the exercise. Rosie is our Sangi canine. So when Rosie, was born, we were able to temperament diagnose Rosie from the very beginning, using DNA and figuring out her profile to where she was a Sangi canine. Therefore, we started to, again, like I told you guys before, use the appropriate training method that goes with the Sangi. And then that way, by using that training method, we also understood the behavioral reactions that we were going to create. So that immediately Rosie went into explosive training, because we knew her central nervous system was very, very calm, very, very relaxed, and would fire only when we requested her to fire. So a very good dog to be doing this exercise. You'll also see when I go to pay the dog, when I work with an explosive canine, in the beginning, I kind of will imprint on top of the odor with the toy to reinforce that situation. But now as the dog becomes more advanced in their indication and letting me know the behavioral change on what that odor is, that's the odor that she's identifying, that I've asked her to find, I will pay away from the odor. I will pay away from the indication, strictly because, right, if it is an explosive, I don't want to be training my dog to be paying on top of the odor. I want to be able to recall my dog back to a safe area, and start to condition her on the reinforcement, the reward, and more importantly, especially with an explosive canine, I personally want to be the highest payment of it all. So I always know that I've recalled my canine safely back to me, and that we are in a safe area to be rewarded, to be played with when it comes to that type of an odor.
Good job. That's a good job. Good job. Here. Upward. Good job. 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 Seats. Suka. Here. Here. No. Not good. Suka.
Took her off leash, wanted to see what it looked like.
Sure. Suka. Good. Where is it? Find it, Rosie. Find it. Find it. Good girl. Good. Find it. Find it. Find it. Good girl. Here. Apart. Good job. Good job. Good job. Los. Los. Suka. Good girl. Here. Apart. Good job. Good job. Good girl. Good job. Good job. Los. Suka. Good girl, Rosie. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good job, Rosie. Good job. Good Suka. Good girl. Los. Apart. Good girl. Good girl. Good job. Go. Good girl. Los.